Today I'm going to discuss line breeding in dogs. Just what is it, and is it a good idea if you're looking for a new puppy? So today's question was sent in by Paul, and his question is that he's got a friend who's interested in a dog, but it was a result of a father-daughter mating, and he's concerned about that line breeding. So what are my thoughts on this? So, being in practice, it's not actually something that I've come across knowingly a great deal, but what line breeding is, it involves breeding from related dogs in the same family. Now, I don't feel that really it's something to be encouraged in general, and I'd be cautious as to the long-term health of any kind of puppies that are bred in such a way. So dog breeding in general, if you like, it's produced so many problems through narrowing of the gene pool to try and select for desired traits, and the result has been that while we're often achieving these desired traits, and a lot of the time that's actually just in the looks of an individual, that's come with a lot of problems attached. So we just need to think of Westies with skin disease, pugs with breathing issues, Labradors with hip dysplasia, Cavalier King Charles Spaniels with heart problems. The list goes on and on. Most breeds, a lot of breeds have got some problem that they suffer to from a greater or lesser extent. Now, line breeding is just a way to try and take the isolation of specific characteristics just to another level. So, that's going to just make things even more accentuated and increase the risk of health problems. Now, that said, the level of inbreeding that goes on with line breeding does vary a lot. So, it could be that the parents, they're just third cousins, so they're only very distant relatives. And if that's the case, then actually the risk to the individual of developing serious consequences of that inbreeding over and above what the normal breed risks would be for two unrelated parents is likely to be negligible. And actually, if it's known that the dogs in this line are healthy and that they're actually healthier than the normal dogs, so that could be like Westies that actually have never suffered from any kind of skin disease in that family, then line breeding could be beneficial because you're more likely to develop or to breed dogs that don't have itchiness, so you're improving the gene pool of the breed, but because they're not very related, the parents are only distantly related, then you're unlikely to get any downsides from that. And we can actually calculate the risks by working out something called the coefficient of inbreeding, which essentially tells us just how likely it is that puppies will inherit identical genes. So too high a number and we'll see health problems in the puppies, we'll see a loss of vitality, they're not going to grow very well, and if the number is very low, so that coefficient of inbreeding is very low, then we're less likely to get the desired benefits, but the health won't suffer. So generally for health, we want to aim for a value of less than about 5%. And, some sample cases, if we've got parent offspring mating, so just like this case, we've got a father-daughter mating, or it could be a sister-son mating, then the coefficient of inbreeding is actually 25%. If we've got siblings, so a brother and sister, then that's 25% as well. If we've got first cousins, if the parents are first cousins, then the coefficient of inbreeding is 6.25%. So those levels are all above that 5% cutoff, and sometimes massively above that level. And actually, when lines are already inbred anyway, the values can actually be much higher, even if at first glance the parents only seem to be distantly related. So it can get to be quite a complicated calculation, but if you're working with a good breeder, they will be able to work that out, and they will be just as concerned about producing healthy puppies and perpetuating that line with healthy individuals as anybody who's wanting to buy those puppies. As for father-daughter breeding, well, as in this question, it's never really going to be a good idea if you want healthy puppies, regardless of whether you're just trying to breed show dogs or whether you're just breeding pets. So father-daughter breeding, yeah, I definitely would steer well clear of that because the risk of problems in my mind are just too high.
You've been watching the Dr. Alex Answers video podcast. Remember to subscribe and head over to dralexanswers.com for any links, downloads, and get your question answered.